This is a take two.
All right, what's been new with you?
Well,
Let's not talk about the deleted episode already that just gave some shitty coffee story.
Hey, I didn't intend to give a coffee story. You asked me about my coffee.
I asked if it had a phone time. I thought we were off the air. I didn't know we were going live.
I don't even know. All I know is that our producer, Camuela, is not here today.
He is banging hookers in Colombia.
So we are here and having to do this shit ourselves. So it's going to come out horribly.
No, it'll be fine.
We'll make it work. You know,
it'll be fine.
Just two functional guys who don't have criminal records and, are dating women.
I'm not.
Well, you have.
Have before.
This podcast isn't always that way.
That was funny. Well, one, I want to say, Jeff was an awesome guest last week. You said, hey, don't go near that. Don't do that. I said, I'm going to push.
No, I didn't say don't. I said, I'm not. Like, I don't.
All right. And that's fair enough. But I had him on. I don't know if you caught the podcast. He was an awesome guest. He broke everything down very, very well. We were dead on a lot of things. We made a lot of really good reads. Did you watch the fights last week?
I did.
And thoughts?
What specifically? Like, was there anything?
Was the card exciting for you? Was there any?
The prelims were really good, and then it got to the main card, and that was garbage. It was just boring. And
what are your thoughts on Wellmaker?
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's a superstar.
Now, what do you think of his punching? Because a lot of critique, and I think I noticed this too. If he were to go into a real boxing ring, he's probably going to get destroyed because he does leave a lot of openings with how he punches. But he hits so hard.
You're talking apples and oranges. It's so weird. I was talking with somebody about boxing the other day. I forget who it was. They're like, yeah, I'm an MMA guy, but I really like boxing's my thing. I forget who it was. And we were talking about that. Like with MMA, there's so many weapons that you don't have to be a good boxer when you bring a knee up and somebody looks down and then you hit him in the side of the head.
Very good point. You start going bladed stance, your legs getting kicked out.
Yeah, there's so many things. It's like, I can't out wrestle you, so I choke you. I can't choke you, so I kick you. I can't this, so I that. Whereas boxing, it's left hand, right hand, and that's it. And so you're going to be so good at those two things. So boxers are going to be way better at boxing than MMA fighters. But again, put a boxer into an MMA fight, they get taken down, they get kicked, they get kneed, they get this, they get that. They'll even get outboxed because there's so much stuff going on that they've got to look. There's
other stuff to look at.
Yes.
Yeah, the range is different.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm asking is just a lot of critique on the way he punches. The way I'm looking at it, he's almost the opposite of like a Dominic Cruz. We kind of talk about that a lot. Dom throws it and he trails his punch. Malcolm, the way he's throwing it, he goes wide, but he's sending that punch way ahead, and he is so powerful the way he throws it.
People punch really strangely in MMA. No, I don't mean people in MMA, but there's a lot of different ways to punch. And if you watch the old Fedor fights, the old Russians casting everything, turning everything down, which would be different than like a karate fighter that's almost like thumb upping it. And then a technical boxer versus a Muay Thai guy. I mean, they're all going to have, and then you add just personal variance in there and then shitty coaching as well.
Yeah.
And you get, man, so you get a lot of like different variations of all of the same punches. But I was thinking about this the other day, and it really made me sad, is that like fighters in our sport, because of what we're talking about, they're not always very technical in any facet, because instead of becoming you're a better boxer than me. So instead of me becoming a better boxer and getting better, I kick. And then all of a sudden I'm kicking you. So instead of getting better at kicking, you shoot. And so
it's a constant progression, but we don't master any part of it.
And so really what it comes down to is eyes on the outside and not being overwhelmed with stuff, and then toughness, and then skills. Rarely do you see people who are actually very skilled in certain areas. And when you do, it's really a treat, because
and you can tell from a mile away. That little Korean guy the other week, that one punched. Dude, you can tell. You can just see.
That's what he does.
There it is. Yep. He's so calm, so calculated. His distance was perfect, and then he thinks you, touches you.
That's it, and they're out. So MMA to me is actually weird, because it's becoming one. There's a stat recently that is around 60 or 65% of MMA fights, of like the total minutes or total seconds of fights over the last year or 2 years, I forget the exact thing, are contested at striking range, not clinch, but kickboxing, boxing range out in the open. It was around 60 or 65%. And that's a big shift from what it used to be.
Mostly grappling,
push on the fence, a lot of ground control stuff. And I don't know if the rules really have anything to do with that or more so
the judging.
I don't even think the judging. I think the energy expenditure. In wrestling, you get 2 points for taking somebody down. Then you're up and you can just ride out and coast, or 3 points now if you're going folk style. Whereas in fighting, you get your 2 or 3 points. You get that dynamic, big, explosive takedown, and then somebody pops up and they're like, yeah, I'm good. You do that 2 times around, and all of a sudden you're spent. And the energy expenditure is just through the roof of grappling at this point. And then, of course, I think some of it does have to do with style. We're starting to see a lot more striking in MMA in the sport as a whole. I don't know that we are getting better. I think the guys are getting better. And one thing that I'm noticing is that fighters are starting to fight in the pocket more with boxing. Whereas before, if you get in the pocket like that, you're grabbing or shooting or exiting. And we're starting to see the Dellas. We're starting to see even look at Cody Garbrandt. He's been doing this for a while. He'll be in the pocket and he's slipping and rolling in there instead of just grabbing or exiting. And that, I think, is going to be the next progression. And I think that's going to force fighters to become actual better boxers. Because right now, boxing in MMA is atrocious.
Awful.
Now, the punching in MMA is great. The kicking in MMA is great. The boxing, technical, rolling, sitting, angling through, coming up, like how to move,
catching shots, returning shots, footwork. It's
the comfort level of stuff flying at your face that close. It's just, I think we're going to start to see a lot more technical boxing out of fighters.
Honestly, the biggest part for me, I can't believe how much better the boxers can eat punches than MMA fighters. You watch some of the shots that put MMA fighters away. It's really weird. It's just weird to me because I'll watch a boxer get hit with 7 punches in a row. Every single one is full contact, as hard as they can, in a corner, something, and they eat it like nothing. MMA fighter gets touched on the outside by a phantom punch out.
Well, I think there's 2 points to that. I think one, I think we talked about it recently. You have contact time. All right. Did we talk about this?
No.
Okay. So if you think about like the amount of contact time that MMA glove has versus a boxing glove. So if you look at cars these days,
we talked about this, but I think off podcast.
Okay. So look at a car built in the 1970s or 80s as a steel, like wrecking ball. And you get into a car accident and it doesn't crumble at all. It stays intact, but everyone dies because right on impact, all of that force is absorbed. Whereas now cars are designed to crumble because with every crumble, like absorbs some of that energy.
I see. So you're saying the shock from the boxing glove, it kind of goes through its progression before the impact hits.
Some of the progression and some of that is going. Whereas the MMA glove, it's just a smaller, harder surface that can be pointed to one moment versus dissipated.
What's so funny, so one of my old favorite programs I used to watch, it was called Sports Science back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever watch this?
Yep, I have.
With John something. I can't remember. And it's funny, actually, you say this because that was always the theory. That was always the thought that an MMA glove, the impact, it hits harder, it is harder, it does more damage. And so they actually did that on Sports Science. They did a boxing glove versus an MMA glove. And what they found was the weight of the glove had zero impact on the impact, that every force was exactly the same, which made it really bizarre because, that was always the theory is the smaller the gloves, the closer to a bare knuckle, the worse it's going to knock you out. And I couldn't believe it, but that was literally the study, was that every single impact was exactly the same.
Interesting.
Barring something where it was too heavy for you to actually cause the force.
But I think there's another point of that with the gloves, and this was going to be my second point, was in it kind of blends. What you're saying right there is kind of blends in the first. Is you got to remember boxing gloves are bigger. And so just by the way that our guard is, our arms are going to absorb more of that than a small
of course
MMA glove.
But I've also seen guys just get hit flush with shots that it's unbelievable. It's hard to watch MMA for 5-10 years and then fathom that somebody can get hit with a combination like that and then be okay after that. Again,
I'll finish. This is my second point: is boxers roll punches, MMA fighters don't.
Okay, there you go.
And that is the bigger point of it all is MMA fighters either back up or they're eating punches head on. Boxers are shimmying and rolling, and even they're going to get hit, but it's absorbing a little bit less. They're going with it. They're moving with it.
Tell me if this is a little bit of it too. Like, it seems like here's for where it is for me, because I spar in boxing too, and I watch those guys. Like every time they spar, I just pay attention. I just sit there and watch. It's my favorite thing to do in the world, because boxers punch different, they move different, they move their heads different, they take punches differently. And part of me almost wonders, in MMA, we're so shy and so timid to get hit. Anybody, and we're talking even guys that are top 5, 10 in the UFC today, still don't like to get hit in the way that they react. So I'm almost wondering if boxers, they brace themselves because they know, I'm here, I'm going to get hit 1,000%. And they're able to wear the punches a lot better because they're here just knowing and ready. They're not getting hit with anything unexpected, or they're not shying away from the punch. They're here rolling, touching into it. Does that make a difference?
You know, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does at some level. But the guys, like the highest level guys in the UFC, aren't tentative and afraid to get hit. I mean, nobody wants to get hit. It's not like these guys are like not Gilbert Burns, Herbert Burns in it, and like, you know what I mean?
No, but definitely some people bite at feints when they shouldn't.
I think that just comes down to absorbing the punches and rolling with them and knowing that it's going to happen. It's just minutes there.
Yeah.
Look at the guy who, I think his name is Destroying. Do you follow football at all?
What?
I think it's he was the YouTube guy who was a kicker, field goal kicker, and did all these like videos.
Weirdly, I kind of know this because he was bombing like 60-yarders or something.
Yeah, and he would actually be around Arizona doing stuff quite a bit. And then now I think he's in Florida. But anyway, so he got picked up by the UFL, did a season there. Guys are coming back, and you know, somebody's returning the kick. And he's never played like college ball. He's been a kicker his whole life, and a kicker, punter, field goal kicker, and place kicker. And somebody beats this returner, beats everybody, and Destroying just goes down the field and just tackles the shit out. Just helmet, shoulders, body, fucking sends this guy down. All these people are like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know how to tackle. He's going to break his fucking neck. Well, the next morning, he didn't report. He went to the hospital, fractured his neck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fractured his neck, was out for the season. Because this is just a dude who didn't know how to tackle. And so you look at boxing and how many at the level, like people have got to be used to the level, or you're going to break your neck tackling. And if you're not sitting there in the pocket for thousands of hours doing it, which in MMA, there's so many other things to do
you can't spend that much time there.
Yeah, you're never going to be that comfortable.
Small aspect of fighting that honestly rarely in a fight even happens inside fighting. So you really have to cause that. And some of the best guys that we see doing it is Ilia Topuria, right? Yep. He's always kind of doing that sway, and he causes an inside fight.
When so often everyone's so uncomfortable there. So if you step in on somebody, a lot of people are nervous doing that because they think, oh, I'm going to get hit. Bullshit, that person's moving away. Like 9 times out of 10, it's like 2 opposing magnets. Boom, they're pushing away.
I will say,
and then that'll open up even more.
I will say, though, like 2 things. One, I think a lot of boxers would get knocked out. The gloves are so different. Not for the impact, nothing like that. Literally, like how they feel on your hands and how you actually punch with them.
With the size of them, and even in boxing, you're going to have a thicker pad on the inside.
I like to let my hands just chill open, and then I kind of close it on impact.
Exactly. In MMA, there's nothing in there. It's just a weird. It's just different. I mean,
when do you keep your hands open and parry versus when do you close and punch?
It's football to rugby. I mean, they're very similar in a lot of ways, but there are huge differences. And one of which football is awesome. And
so which one's awesome?
Let's get into this fight card. I didn't even know we had an Azerbaijan fight card coming up. I know I heard about it at some point, didn't realize it was now. Last thing I even saw about this card was that Jamahal Hill wasn't going to get on the plane to Azerbaijan.
Oh, hell no.
Because of all of the turmoil in the area. Are you aware that Israel just started bombing Iraq and then Iran, and then Iran started sending missiles back? It's a whole there's conflict in the Mideast right now.
Okay, but I did look it up, and someone on the article said, yeah, I looked up both locations. Both are over 1,000 miles from where he's going to be. He should be fine.
Well, not everybody has the best geography.
Jamal doesn't have the best anything. Oh, hell nah.
Man,
I thought you said Atlanta. I thought the ticket smudged. Azerbaijan.
We've got Azerbaijan fight card today. UFC fight night, I don't know. Jamahal Hill.
I thought you said Bali.
Jamahal Hill is fighting Khalil Roundtree. And Roundtree just fought, I feel like, a week ago and got knocked out. Or
sometime.
Yeah, it was pretty close. But anyway, let's get into this fight card. We are going to do the main card first, and then we are going to hit our prelims, which will be on our Patreon, you guys. So sign up if you want to get all of the Patreon goods coming in. Actually, before we even get going, I wasn't on the show last time. We Patchy Mix, right? He's supposed to be the next coming of Christ. Big flop. We have, I guess,
Tofiq.
What's that?
You're going to say Tofiq?
Yeah. And then we also have, but even, what is Sabadu Sai's brother?
Umar.
And I know he fought once in the UFC already, but he kind of got checked a little bit too.
He's never been good. He's just athletic.
Yeah.
I said this on the podcast last week. I wanted to pick Alonzo. I can't remember if I did on the podcast or not, but I said I wouldn't parlay this dude. I don't think he's very good. He might out athlete.
Yeah.
I said he's like the poor man's Michael Morales, and that showed because he doesn't really have many skills. Michael's got skills now, but this dude is just athletic.
It's weird to see that. And so we've got Musayev, whatever, coming in today. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that based on not just him, but based on what we've seen in the last couple cards with these people coming in and, with some hype around them. But what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Sadykhov and Nikolas Motta. Main card is going to start with Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. And is
this on Tapology? That's where it's starting?
Yep. That is on Tapology. Bogdan Grad is plus 205 and Naimov is minus 240. Who do you got in this?
These are two guys that I don't like as fighters, just in general. Pardon me. I think Naimov can be skilled sometimes, but one, we've seen him commit way too many fouls, right? He's constantly grabbing the cage. That's always a liability, something you're going to have to worry about. Eye gouging, grabbing shorts, grabbing gloves, grabbing the cage. That's one thing off the bat. Second thing is he gets really tired. Almost every fight we see him wear down. He pushes through a lot of times. He's, a decent grappler, very aggressive when he wants to be. But, man, I don't feel like I can trust Naimov too much in any time. I wouldn't play him as a minus 240 favorite, whatever it is. Bogdan's actually like the little engine that could. Like, that dude never stops coming forward, constant pressure. I think he's probably going to wear out Naimov. Like, I get it. Naimov is more skilled. I think in a vacuum, he probably takes down Bogdan, rides top, wins a decision. But I think Bogdan's going to cause him some issues. I think he's going to push the pace, wear on him. I think I actually like Bogdan in an upset here.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm on the other side of that fence, and
I can be back on the other side in a heartbeat because I don't think Bogdan's very good.
See, Bogdan, I think, is athletic, and he likes to blitz people, and I think that's what his kind of claim to fame is and where he does his best work. Whereas I'm not actually impressed. Like, if you don't get caught with that right off the bat, I don't think he's overly skilled in those situations. And we saw that in his last fight where
with Aswell, he fought 3 hard rounds.
Not with Aswell.
I know Lucas Alexander.
Yeah. But so he couldn't get the takedown immediately and then kind of shot and pulled guard, ended up on his back and didn't get back up. I mean, he was just kind of like there for a while. And then it was really Lucas Alexander just kind of death gassed. Like, he should have won that fight, and he just death gassed.
They said it was the paint fumes time, that one.
What?
The paint fumes?
What are you talking about? I don't know.
They in Abu Dhabi, they had painted the locker rooms.
Oh.
So everyone was suffering from the paint fumes, and they said it was affecting their performance, and Lucas Alexander was like the main one.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, so I thought Bogdan looked kind of bad in that, and then of course he won it.
He looks bad in every fight, but he finds ways to win.
And here's the thing: is Naimov he does the right stuff. Like I didn't think I don't know. Even in his last fight, who did Naimov?
Awfully.
Yes. I actually meant the one before that. Sorry, he was fighting
the Brazilian kid,
Felipe Lima.
Yeah,
yeah, and he actually looked really good in that, and until Lima took his back. But Naimov does all the right stuff. I mean, he's there. He doesn't go crazy. He defends takedowns. He can get takedowns if he wants. He was in Felipe Lima's guard, just controlling the position, defending submissions. I like him from just doing less dumb shit and just being there. We've seen him put out malarkey. We've seen him drop and cheat his way.
I get it. He's way better than
Nathaniel Wood.
Bogdan.
Yeah.
He's way better than Bogdan. The issue is we're seeing a new meta in MMA. It's the Andres Gustafssons. It's the DDPs. It's this style that makes no sense and it's horrible, but it works somehow.
Yeah, I don't trust Bogdan's chin to hold up the same way that DDPs or even Gustafsson, like, which was pretty. That was a freak performance by Gustafsson.
That was insane.
That was awesome.
I feel like that's what we're going to see with Bogdan. Like, all logic, everything tells me Naimov is 100% the side. He should outclass him everywhere. I think he's better everywhere.
Is Naimov from Azerbaijan? Where's Naimov from? Tajikistan, maybe?
I think he's a Tajiki.
Yeah, Tajikistan. So, all right. Well, I've got Naimov. You've got Bogdan Grad. Let's move on.
We're going head to head.
We're going head to head. All right. Next up, we have Nazim Sadykhov versus Nikolas Motta. Sadykhov is.
Wait, did you start main card or you started prelim?
Main card. This is main card.
Oh, okay.
Sadykhov is minus 440 and Nikolas Motta is plus 340. And I think that is aligned pretty close to where it should be.
Are you serious?
Yeah, maybe a little bit less just stylistically.
How do you figure? Because I saw this. I was shocked, honestly. I gasped. Because Sadykhov had that fight with Slava where he let Slava have the first round.
Yep.
Just got picked apart, outpaced, outvolumed. Nearly killed Slava in the second round. Didn't finish him. And then lost the third round to Slava also.
Yes.
Slava has no cardio, no chin, super old.
Slava has good cardio standing. If you wrestle him, his cardio will fade.
Okay, and he did get wrestled.
But Sadykhov tried to swing and adrenaline himself out.
Not even like that. He was getting picked apart in the first. And I'm looking at Nikolas Motta. Like, Motta's actually a good striker.
Motta's not a bad striker. He is nowhere near Slava level striker.
It's different. It's just different.
Slava is the most technical striker. He's unbelievable. Motta is literally stands there. He will not throw unless you throw. And then the second you throw, it's hook cross or cross hook.
But also Sadykhov he is so talented. I want to start by saying that. Sadykhov is unbelievably talented everywhere. He can do everything amazing. He just waits so long sometimes, and he'll just sit there and sit there and sit there. I almost feel like this fight's going to be a 50-50 standing fight of two guys staring at each other.
Yeah, no, it will be. But Sadykhov has the better chin, and he has more ways to mix it up, and he'll wrestle and shoot, control the position a little bit.
I think he has to wrestle and shoot.
I don't think so. I think Motta is so low volume and doesn't do anything spectacular in the sense of like catching somebody off guard that I think Sadykhov can just kind of do very little and win because Motta will not go unless you throw first. And so then
I think you're wrong on this one because I was watching the Maha fight. Maha nearly killed him and then he still came back and won the round.
After Maha was tired and was kind of after visibly Maha stopped being Maha and going forward.
That was 2 minutes in. And then
I know, but Maha looked horrible.
But Motta pressured him like crazy. He got dropped, got up, and started pressuring immediately. So this low volume narrative, I don't know if it's 100% correct. Because one thing I did notice with Motta is that when he does throw punches, they're eye-catching shots. He throws like we talked about this his whole career. He's like a shotgun. He'll like not throw, but then when he does, it's like a blast and there's like 10 punches that go. So a lot of the stuff he does is really eye-catching big stuff. I think where the discrepancy is going to happen is going to be in the grappling. But my issue with Sadykhov is, can I trust him to proactively follow that game plan? Because that Slava fight could have been so much easier on him.
Yeah.
And he made it about as difficult as possible and got rewarded with a draw for it.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
I like Sadykhov's durability and
solid
predictability and willingness to do more. Like overall, I think in a fight, I think Sadykhov is going to throw more punches and kicks. He's going to shoot more. He's going to do more. He's very durable. And I know what I'm getting there. Whereas Motta, you just
could be chinny today. He could be fine.
It's like he gets dropped and he's out, or he just sits there, or he's being taken down and submitted and gifted a no contest. I know with Sadykhov what I'm getting, and it's good. And now look, like Motta could have the performance of a lifetime and win. but that could be anyone at any point.
Yeah,
always.
Right. I actually wish that Sadykhov was a little bit less talented. I wish he would follow a game plan more and stick to it and be less talented. He's just an issue with him. I think he's so good everywhere that he just lets the fight just play out however it's going to, and he just reacts based on it. And that part I don't.
Yeah, no,
I want to see him go win.
Right. Like, I think he's just there fighting versus like going in, doing a game plan,
actively trying to.
But
win.
is he in Vegas with Aljo and all those guys now too?
I don't know, actually,
because I know he was with Longo forever. But I know that one thing that Merab has been very vocal about is crediting John Wood with helping him get better, helping him kind of game plan stuff, but then also letting him be a little bit free to do what he wants. And so,
you mean John Wood comes and brings him water and says, "Keep doing what you're doing."
I mean, in the corner, yeah, but who knows what happens in the training room? Real training happens in there. So, maybe he has a little bit of a different outlook on things if he's more with Aljo and them now away from where he normally was.
It could be. He has the opportunity to make this fight so easy on himself, and somehow I feel he's going to make this as difficult as possible. I think this is going to be kind of like the Menafield fight from last week. Maybe Sadykhov beats the shit out of him. Very possible. Sadykhov is really good. I think this fight's going to end up playing out pretty close. Honestly, I would probably start with a little bit of Motta pre and kind of see how the fight's going, see how the fight's playing out.
Okay. Next up, we've got Myktybek Orolbai versus Tofiq Musayev. Let me look at the odds here. Musayev is plus 150 and Orolbai is minus 175. Am I crazy? Were those lines flipped at some point when this was announced?
I'm not too sure. I didn't look at the opening line.
Okay. I thought Musayev was a favorite when I was looking at this originally, but maybe I'm wrong. Who do you got on this?
This is a tough one. I'm going to pass on this one just from I don't like these debuts because they're just going all over the place. They're super weird. What's his name looks awful, and then all of a sudden he looks amazing. He's knocking out Bo Nickel. And you have Patchy, who everyone thinks is second coming, and he looks like we expected. But I've never liked Tofiq's game. Tofiq is extremely athletic. Clearly, he's got a very solid strength and conditioning regimen, very good supplement plan. He definitely eats his vegetables for sure. But he's just very wide and explosive, and everything is big and power and energy. And the thing that I love about Orolbai is that dude's unbreakable. The dude is death's door against Rombeski. And he still just follows the game plan and he keeps it simple and he finds a way to be able to put himself in every fight. Who's a better wrestler? I don't know. Maybe Tofiq at the beginning. Maybe he's got explosive, amazing hips. I like Orolbai striking a lot better, honestly. I think Orolbai kind of is a more talented fighter, but very possible that Tofiq sparks him early. I mean, the dude's insanely explosive. It's possible.
No, I don't think it's possible. And I mean, I guess it is, but we saw him, Rombeski. I think Tofiq and Rombeski are very similar in opponents.
Oh, I think Rombeski's better.
I think so too. And I think Rombeski, I don't know that Tofiq will gas like Rombeski does because he fades out pretty hard, but it's also his first time in the UFC. So there's always a difference with that.
But also, I don't think Tofiq's going to fight as hard as Rombeski. People forget Rombeski is all yes. That dude's crazy.
Now, but Orolbai is, and the reason I say I don't think he's going to get knocked out or sparked early is, dude, he ate Rombeski's shots, didn't even blink, just was marching for. I mean, didn't even blink. I mean, his eye was swollen shut, but
is he a real person?
Dude, he's not even real. He's so calm. He does all the right stuff. He grapples well.
What are the little? He's like a nesting doll.
Yeah, he is, man.
He's just empty inside there.
There's nothing except for another little him
murder
inside of it. So I like Orolbai here. And then not only breaking down technique, because it's hard. These guys outside of the UFC, they're fighting tomato cans in Japan.
Also hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah. And then I can't take anybody seriously outside of the UFC until I've seen him fight a couple times in the UFC at this point, because it's just, I mean, again, you have De Ridder, who came in, looked god awful, and then has actually looked really good.
Now he's the man.
Yeah, you had Patchy Mix, who looked god awful. Who knows how he'll look next, but I can't.
Well, he's going to fight Chris Moutinho next.
Oh, my gosh.
Imagine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got Orolbai here as well. And we have got Curtis Blaydes and Rizvan Kuniev up next. Blaydes is 18-5. Kuniev is 13-2. And Blaydes is minus 260 and Kuniev is plus 220.
Did you tape this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to want you to go on tape. I taped this one a long time ago, the first of the 7th time that it got scheduled. I like the Russian here, Kuniev, for like nothing more than this. Just feels so weird, so bizarre. They keep booking this fight on and off. I liked him last time. There's something about Curtis Blaydes. Like we hear it all the time. He's so talented. He's this, he's that. He can do everything in the world. He's amazing. He is, but there's something about him. There's some weird quitting him. Now they move this fight to the Middle East, the Russian guy, Muslim. I don't know. I like Kuniev last time. I know he's fat and slow and crazy, but I like Kuniev.
See, I don't think Kuniev has the like death touch power that Curtis Blaydes is losing.
Does it require that anymore though? Curtis Blaydes has looked terrified every time he goes in there now.
His chin is something of epic class.
And it's not even from hard shots.
No, but they are from Tom Aspinall. It's not all right. Forget about even the power on it. They're very technical, fast people who are landing these shots at heavyweight that I think heavyweights aren't used to seeing speed like a Tom Aspinall.
But has anyone has Pavlovich knocked out anybody since Curtis Blaydes?
No, but we all know that Pavlovich is a good striker.
No, he is. I'm just laughing because that was literally his last. He's literally never knocked out someone since.
But Kuniev, he just doesn't. He's not a sharpshooter.
He's fat and big, Russian.
He's like kind of a clubber, and he kind of, we were talking about, he almost casts his punches over and kind of loops, where I think the guys to snipe Blaydes, boom, that's like right down the middle, send it, uppercut, something fast, short. That's just not Kuniev's style. He's very defensive with his wrestling for the most part. Like you said, he's fat. Man, I just see Curtis taking him down, wearing on him, and TKOing him. Just
really?
Yeah. I just, maybe not in round 1, but end of round 1, maybe even round 2. Just elbows from Curtis Blaydes.
No, Curtis Blaydes, mental midget. He's going to be so. He's on a flight to Baku, wherever the fuck, going, oh my God, I can't wait to be out of here. I cannot wait to be out of here.
Maybe, but I mean, he just beat Almeida, and that was Almeida took him down and mauled him for round 1, and Curtis Blaydes got up, and
they didn't send him to Brazil to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, because you got to remember, this fight has been booked 3 times, not in Russia.
It's weird, though. It's weird.
Well, it almost makes me wonder if Kuniev pulled out. And then, so they tried to rebook it, and he pulled out again.
Now they're punishing him?
The UFC, like, a lot of times they're like, no. Like, they know when people don't want certain fights, and they'll
press the issue.
They'll push the issue. This has happened to us and some of our guys and some different things. You pull out, or, I mean, look at Kelvin with Daniel Rodriguez. That was supposed to be contested at 170, ended up being at 185. There's a whole issue with that. And they're like, who's the scariest, biggest, tallest guy that we could give him next? And that was like, and then that fell through on a Pyfer end.
Is that true? Is it true what Tim said?
What?
Pyfer didn't wrap his hands?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know that.
He said he just put one piece of tape over the knuckles, one over the wrist, and was like, all right, I'm good.
I heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
Can you do that? It doesn't seem like you can do that.
You can do that. You have to. Most commissions will require you to put something on, which would be like a strip of tape, just like that. Like they'll say, hey, you have to just tape it.
Why would he even do that?
I don't know.
How idiotic.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help you at all. You want the wrist support so you can punch harder.
But, I mean, Piper's the one that pulled out of that fight, and they were adamant about rebooking that and doing it and stuff. Like there's certain things they want, and there's
a side that they want in this fight, but we got to uncover which side it is. I tend to think it's the Kuniev side.
See, I don't, because I think Kuniev's stock, again, maybe it is.
They moved it to Baku. They didn't move it to Denver. They moved it to Baku.
Well, they moved it to you're overthinking this. They tried to move Kelvin's fight to the Apex the next week, and then they just want to book these cards.
This one they booked out like a month though.
This is the third time. It's the third time they booked it. It's not like they're booking it in Dagestan and then it's booked in Russia.
Okay,
and then
but here's the bigger picture from a logistics standpoint. Curtis lives in Colorado and Kuniev lives in Florida. They could have met in the middle in Atlanta, in Nashville.
Well, but again, like you said, Kuniev is Russian. He is from that area.
All
they're
right.
going to try to stack
they
those
took the
fighters
boy
on the card
to get a win in front of his friends and his family.
But you're in Azerbaijan. I don't know that there is a home turf right there.
Oh, there's a home turf.
I don't know.
Look, take a gander at how Curtis Blaydes looks. You think they're rooting for him?
Yeah. All right. So next up, we've got our co-main event: Rafael Fiziev and Ignacio Bahamondes. Ignacio is -130 and Fiziev is +110. Who do you got?
It's hard for me, if we had this conversation 2 years ago, it's hard for me to ever fathom that Ignacio Bahamondes favored over Rafael Fiziev ever. But here we are.
Here he is. Why is it just a height thing? Like what? Why is he?
Well, I think it's a lot of different things. So one, I think this is the ultimate buy low on Fiziev you could ever have. And not that I don't think Ignacio is amazing, because Ignacio is very, 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 very good. And I think their trajectories are going opposite directions. One's going up, one's going down. However, this is still Rafael Fiziev. This is one of the best strikers ever in the UFC. Full camp this time. He's not taking a short notice, and he's not fighting Justin Gaethje either.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I forget how good Gaethje is.
Maybe he doesn't tear his ACL, like with,
yeah.
So
there's a lot of things that I think went into that last fight. And I'm sure there's probably 100 other things that we don't know about as the public that went into that for Fiziev. Maybe he needed money. Maybe he was in shape, not in shape. I don't know. I love Bahamondes. I think he's really good. I don't think he's going to get Fiziev down. Fiziev's takedown defense is obviously incredible. It's going to be a standing fight. And I remember the days of Ignacio Bahamondes being rocked and hurt by John Makdessis of the world. This is not that long ago.
Who's shorter than Fiziev?
Doesn't hit as hard as Fiziev. Not as technical as Fiziev. Not as athletic as Fiziev. Cardio, I guess, would be the only place. And that is a little weird for Fiziev, the cardio thing. Because we always used to say he fights way better than he should based on how his body is. I'm going to go Fiziev. I still think he's sharp and clean and he's going to outpoint him. Maybe this is me just wishing and loving this guy so much. I love Ignacio, but he can be hurt. He gets hurt to the body. I think leg kicks are going to be there all day. I think Fiziev is going to hurt him actually in the first or the second round. If it doesn't, I can see Ignacio starting to take over, but Fiziev early at dog money is, I think, a good bet.
Man, I think Fiziev has got to watch the head kicks because Bahamondes wraps those head kicks around well from far away. But other than that, like you'd think he's got to watch the knees as he gets close, but Bahamondes doesn't really knee. He throws the teep kick and he throws that front kick up to the body and then up to the head.
And he's going to get countered on that every time.
Yeah. And then the other thing is when he's really good at range. Bahamondes is beautiful at range. His striking is great. The second you get inside that range, he falls apart. Like his punches get wide and loopy. He doesn't clinch. He tries to create space. He's not good there. And then the other thing is his punches, like I said, he does throw that teep, but Fiziev is probably going to black everything coming from the side, round kicks. And I feel like everything Bahamondes throws is from the left to the right. It's not straight down the middle or up. And not everything again, but a good amount. And I think with Fiziev and his head movement and his pocket pressure, that's that body. I mean, I think we're going to see a Moicano situation here.
Yeah.
Boom, body head over the top and we're dead. The other thing that we saw with Fiziev in his last fight is he wrestled Gaethje a little bit.
That's okay. I was going to ask about that.
And
do you think that made him so tired for the rest of that fight?
They had a crazy wild exchange in that early round. Boom, boom.
Crazy first round. It was high pace.
Yeah, but Bahamondes can't grapple like that. He can't do what Gaethje did. And the other thing is that whole exchange started not off of wrestling. It started off of catching a kick. And so I think if Bahamondes wants to start winging a lot of middle kicks and high kicks, or, I wouldn't see him getting off balance and put on his back and Fiziev just jumping on him and Bahamondes sitting in on his back and
throwing up subs. He does like to throw subs.
He does. I mean, we saw it with the Jalen Turner fight. But Jalen Turner was talking about retiring before that. The second people start talking about retiring, they already have, pretty much everything out the door. So I like Fiziev here at plus money. He is not fighting a Gamrot. He's not fighting a Justin Gaethje. He's fighting a normal human.
All respect to Ignacio because he's very good too.
He's very good.
Massive level difference.
Just style-wise, we saw Klein get on the inside of him. Klein wrestled him, but he was able to get on the inside, and that was the key right there. And I think Fiziev will be able to get there too.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's a buy low. That's a buy low, sell high on Fiziev right there, and kind of the inverse on Ignacio. Favorite over Rafael Fiziev.
Insane. All right, main event. We've got Jamahal Hill and Khalil Roundtree. If you guys haven't signed up for the Patreon, do it. All the prelims will be on the Patreon.
BKB this week, BKFC. So many promotions, UFC, PFL. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. So hop on. Let's go make some money this week.
You heard it here first. Jamahal Hill, Khalil Roundtree. Khalil is minus 135 and Hill is plus 115. I like Jamahal Hill. It's so funny because you want to say he's not skilled, but he is, but he just doesn't do a lot.
He's Malcolm Willmaker, but bigger.
Yeah, no, but
he kind of
is, but he's not a guy who's mixing in kicks and knees and this and that. He's like,
not as athletic as
Willmaker. He's like, I'm going to stand there and I'm going to jab you and then look for that too.
Hood bop. That's what he's doing, the hood bop.
He's going to hood bop. But defensively, he does a lot. He's a bigger guy. And I think he's a better puncher than Khalil. And Khalil, in his older twilight years of the sport, I think is getting hit more and hurt more with punches. And everyone loves to talk about Khalil's low kicks, but we haven't seen those like really do damage outside of, in a while, like we did with the Eric Anders type situation where it's really became, Rogan just like low kicks. And like, I think he explodes in well. I think he does a great job of closing the distance. I think he does a really good job of firing elbows off of the break when people are trying to wrestle him. But I don't assume that Jamahal Hill is going to be trying to wrestle him. And I think if Jamahal Hill can check a couple leg kicks or crowd a couple kicks, I think that he's just going to outbox him just down the middle. And when I say down the middle, I mean, of course, throwing, but I could see not like he's just going to throw down the middle, but just punching as Khalil is trying to kick and finding his way inside, especially being longer and taller. So I like Jamahal Hill here, and I usually don't. I usually am always – it's not like I dislike Jamahal Hill at all for any reason other than I just don't always find him overly skilled. But he does it. He makes it work. I don't think it's pretty, but it's very effective. And I think he's going to be effective against Rountree.
The issue that I see in this fight is actually Rountree's fight against Alex Pereira. He looked so good in that fight, and all he kept doing was he would crash the pocket, close the distance, and then fire off the break, and he looked excellent doing it. The thing with Jamahal is Jamahal doesn't really set anything up. He's a guy that can punch well, but he doesn't fight well. He just fights. Or maybe I said this backwards. I don't know. He fights better than he doesn't set things up. He just fights. Yep. And I think that's going to be an issue with a guy like Khalil, because Khalil is very composed, very calm in there. He makes a lot of reads, and then he crashes the pocket and he fires back. And I think when Jamal's on the outside, sometimes he oversteps his punches. Sometimes he crowds his own distance, putting stuff together, and his defense isn't sharp when he exits the pocket. And that's why he gets hit a lot, especially as he's leaning back all the time, taking those shots. And it looks bad for him. We saw it in the Jiri fight a million times, constantly getting his head snapped back. And a guy that's as fundamentally sound as Khalil, and we kind of see this with like Jose Aldo too. Aldo is so fundamentally sound in that very Muay Thai defense first kind of style.
Yeah, but Aldo can box so much better than Khalil.
That's very true.
What we were talking about on the start of the show is rolling the punches and moving. Khalil is in more of a Thai stance.
Very square.
He does not roll as well.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's just going to come down to the difference between the boxing and the punching ability in close range. And then also a lot of times Khalil will kind of wait on the outside. He waits for people to come to him. I think that's going to be hard against somebody like Jamahal, who is going to be in your face throwing and isn't going to be like touch and then return.
Now, what about the injuries for Jamahal? Because he did not look good the last fight. He looked slow, and it didn't even. To me, it looked like his actual injury was halting him. Like it looked like he didn't have the explosiveness that he used to.
That's always a thing. You never know what's going to happen with any of those injuries. We saw it with Fiziev. Was his last fight a response to being out for so long after an ACL tear?
Or short notice. Yeah, but at least Fiziev is still shredded and looks good and takes care of himself. The issue with Jamahal that we had before was that he had an uncle body, and it was this running joke how horrible he looks, and he would make fun of it, but at least he was still winning and getting knockouts, and he was the man. Now that he's lost, and now that he's getting knocked out, now I will say he's getting knocked out by guys that are the top of the world. Honestly, now this is kind of making me shift. I think Khalil's going to have a really strong opening 2 rounds. I think the issue with Khalil, as soon as he gets tired, he loses focus. And when he loses focus, he gets hit. And the thing about Jamahal, I will give him his flowers. I don't hate his fight style. I don't like him as a person, really. He's very unlikable. But he's not a bitch. He eats a lot of big shots. He stays in there. He stays fighting. Jiri hit him with everything in the kitchen sink. And Jamahal, he's not a pussy.
No.
That's the thing. And I think it's almost opposite. Like Khalil is intimidating and scary looking.
He's a good front runner. You
technical.
Start getting him tired, put him on the back foot a little bit, and he'll collapse.
It's the opposite. So I think I'm actually with you. I think that Jamal's going to find a late knockout.
Okay. All right, you guys, that is it. Head on over to Patreon to look at our thoughts on the prelims.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We like to have fun here. Thanks. Enjoy.